Welcome, and today we are going to be looking at a Sir Alex Ferguson tactic. We are going to bring it back, and I'm going to give you two slight variations of it, but I'm going to give you the main tactic, and I'm going to show you a way in certain games when you're trying to manage it out and you're just trying to nick that extra goal, no matter the opponent, how you can get that goal. Now, what's important about this tactic is you will concede less than a goal a game, so it won't necessarily always be a back and forth, but it will be all out attack. You're going to be able to take as you're going to see here, a mid Man United team, because Lord knows they are oh God, they are mid. Oh, they're so bad. Oh, it suffers to be a Man United fan. But I digress, we move on. We're going to look at a Man United team that's predicted to finish 5th. And as you know, isn't necessarily the greatest team. With no signings, I'm going to show you what we do. So let's look at some of the stats. So first things we've got to look at here is let's look at the general performance. As you can see, 3.53 goals per game. Obviously, expected non-penalty goals. That is important. 2.77. The bit I like most is actually the shots per game, 19.74. For a team like this United team in a 4-4-2, it is absolutely perfect. I promise you, you get so much out, and as I promised, it'll be under a goal per game conceded. Now, there's so many other things there as well. Your pass percentage is high, shot on target is high, which is very important because if I request a shot map from our last, let's say, 5 games, look how many shots are within the box and in that central area. They're not just pepper from distance, a shot on target to get it on. No, we're shooting chances in the box. We are truly peppering them. And as you can see, there's crosses in there. 15.17 goals expected. We are absolutely flying in this formation. And listen, this is only with the United team. I would say this tactic is actually perfect for, I would say, teams predicted to finish like 4th, 5th that are kind of off pace. Also down to 12th, 13th. I don't think it's going to be something that's going to save you from relegation. So this tactic is what it's for. But I've done rebuild ones and everyone asked me about this tactic on stream. So here you go. I am bringing it to you now with a full explanation. So please enjoy this. Now let's look at obviously the defensive side. You can see here a lot of clean sheets. 18 clean sheets in the Premier League. There is so many things. There is quite a few fouls at times, but everything else we're so much higher. So much possession won. Honestly, the speed you win the ball back on this one as well, it is way more aggressive. You have to really accept that you're going to have to give some goals sometimes, but you will always get goals in this formation. Only the select few moments, but if this tactic was perfect, it wouldn't be true. If it's too good to be true, with United, first game, no, just don't worry about it. If I had any signings, this one was absolutely spot on. So let me show you some more stats here. Attacking, obviously we spoke about the goals per game. The cross completion is very important to me. They're very similar to the first ones, but just the cross completion is very important to me here as well. That is one thing that you have to really enjoy. And then when you obviously look anywhere, just the tactics are spot on. But what is the tactic, you ask? What will it be? Well, let me show you the tactic. Okay, so here you have it. Here is the tactic, and I'm going to talk you through it. So, first things first, you notice we are unbalanced. That is because we actually want teams to come onto us a bit, because we're going to dominate the ball and we want them to kind of be out of shape. Obviously, we want teams to be retreating and kind of a bit out of it because we're going to go quite fast paced and we're going to attack them. This is a Fergie one. So obviously, the more teams come at you, especially on FM, their fullbacks tend to get on and you've got space to get in down the wings. So, as you can see here, we do have it all set up quite simply. We'll look at actually this part here. So very wide, because when we attack, we want to stretch the width as much as possible. Pass into space. I want to focus that play down the wings. It doesn't mean the ball doesn't go into the middle. Of course it does, but you need to make sure you're spreading it wide. We're working the ball into the box, and I've gone low crosses. As you saw before, there's still shots with the head. There's still crosses coming in, but the low crosses give our attackers that little edge to nick in front, get the ball. We want a slightly higher tempo, but just standard direction of passing. We just want it to kind of be very direct, run at defense and be expressive, because it is Fergie football after all. Now, we're going to look over here as well in transition. We want to counter press and counter. You can actually play with this in game. If you're kind of seeing a game out, just change this to regroup. For some reason, works an absolute treat. Especially if you're 1-0 up late in a game, just stops your team and your team will still go at speed. But it just gets more people behind the ball. This is all standard game management stuff that I'm sure you know. Roll it out and obviously out to here as well. And then out of possession, just want a high press and also higher line. And more often here, you can obviously toggle back and forth. More often, you get absolutely everything you need out of it as well. And to be honest, probably prevent short goalkeeper distribution, especially if you're just really on top of a game. You want them just to be super high. Don't even let them play out. Don't even let them try and knock one in behind you. Obviously, anything else, you can't let them play in front of you because your structure's so compact. It's actually really hard to break down anyway. So, as we look at the player roles here, we got obviously sweeper keeper, because I just think you have to have a sweeper keeper. If it was doing an actual Fergie one, I probably would just do goalkeeper and defend, because that's what his goalkeepers did. Wing back on attack, both centre defensive, and just defend. We just want them to be straightforward, simple. You are there to defend and get rid of the ball. Nothing fancy, nothing silly. Fullback on attack, because I do want him to bomb up here. Obviously, the wing back, I need him to get into here because of the inverted winger here who's going to drift in. Now, it's not always Anthony. This is more the nanny role where you're going to have a little bit more discipline at times. But I need him to meet Bruno in this area here. We need to compact it out. As you'll notice, Xerxes is a deep lying forward. He's going to drop into this area. But more of that in a minute. In the middle, box to box, I need him up and down. I did choose Bruno for that role, but I've also used Bruno in the wide role, believe it or not, to allow him to get onto the ball and actually play make. So you can simply just switch that one. If you've got more of a wide playmaker who's struggling in the middle of the pitch, but he's important, like a Bruno to you with higher stats, have him as a wide playmaker. It works exactly the same. It still works for you. But just with this United team, I chose to go with him inverted winger. That's the only change I'd really make to this. But box to box, deep line playmaker. He is going to be the key to a lot of your problems. He is going to find the ball in his areas and move it out to said players, and Rashford out wide on attack. Look, these players aren't designed necessarily to play these exact positions. So when you build for the actual correct ones, you're going to notice it'll be ridiculous for you. You'll get so much more success. Højlund up front on pressing forward, and also a deep line forward for Xerxes. That is quite important because this area here needs to be completely boxed out because we don't have a natural winger here. So these are all going to interchange and find different areas, but also it's going to pull people out and allow Dalot to overlap because I want him crossing from deep. But let me show you the instructions. So here, got Onana, exactly as expected. Just leave it as it is. Dribble more and take more risks. It is a problem, but you have to accept it. Get a keeper that can handle the ball with his feet. Not handling it, is it? You know exactly what I meant. Kick a ball. Distribute. That's the word. There you go. Now, Dalot here. Take fewer risks. Shoot less often. Obviously, I don't want him to do there as well. You can also add in cross more often, but he's going to be in the positions. It's just naturally what he's going to do, to be honest with you. Delete, very simple. Take fewer risks. Tackle harder. And you want exactly the same here as well. Take fewer risks and obviously tackle harder here as well. One of them can be a little bit more... like if you got a little bit more playmaker, or ball player like Martinez, you don't necessarily have to have him on take fewer risks. They should naturally do it anyway, but you can have a little bit there, but I'm going to show you that in just a second. Now, full back over here, take fewer risks, shoot left often, and obviously the natural stuff that's on it anyway. Now, moving into midfield, keep him exactly the same. Other winger, you want him to pass it shorter, shoot more often, and roam from position. I'm going to need him to drift in here because that is going to trigger obviously another fullback here as well. I want this from here, but again, I'm going to show you all, so don't worry. D-line playmaker, you need to add more direct passes, cross left often, because I don't even want him out there to start with. Dribble more and close down more. I want him to press, but I also want him to drift with the ball and stuff like that, because that is key. Now, over here as well, there's a lot more on this one here. Tackle harder, because this team does need to go in with a little bit of force. This is a Fergie tactic. You do need your Scholes and stuff like that who can't tackle. Pass it shorter, take fewer risks, dribble less, shoot less often, close down more. This seems very restricted, but as you'll see with the stats, he does absolutely fine. So don't worry. Up front, more direct passes, shoot more often. And same here, take more risks, dribble more, shoot more often, because you want them to truly pepper the goal. I want my shots coming from the strikers, because where the striker's going to be, in the box. Think it through. It's all very simple. Let's have a quick look here. This is what you will change to on games where maybe you expect to dominate, or if even against a big team, it doesn't matter who, and you need a goal. These are the simple changes I need you to make. Now, the only changes really here as well is Dalot's going to go to a fullback on support because he's just going to drift up behind Garnacho. He's not actually looking to do too much as well, but he is going to cross from deep, cross more often, take fewer risks, Jesus. Run wide with the ball, shoot less often and stay wider. I want him to operate in this area where Dalot already is here as well. Garnacho, sorry, and Garnacho will be on an inverted winger and attack. He is going to go in there and no extra things for him as well. This is almost a free Ronaldo role. When Ronaldo used to play slightly higher and everything else was kind of more compact one side and higher the other side, and your fullback was relied on a lot. 2008 final against Chelsea, Ronaldo pretty much had a bit more of a free roam role. He still expects to do some defensive work, but never really too much. Your attacker stays exactly the same, midfield stays the same. Luke Shaw is on a wing back now as well, and wanting to obviously cross more often. These are the ones you need here for him as well. And obviously Rashford as well, exactly the same. He is just on support now as well. So you've still got a combination out there to make sure you can move the ball up the pitch, still get wide and get the ball into the box to your two strikers. Obviously changes wise here, I don't really think there's any massive changes. Everything's pretty same. You're still very wide. You still do everything you need to do here. You can maybe go slightly higher with it, but to be honest, that is all absolutely fine. You're just going to change to attacking. And when I tell you, this works wonders. You may believe me, you may not, but what I will do is I'll show you the stats of some of the players and so you can see the goals and assists these players are getting. Use it yourself and then you let me know. Here are the player stats. So first things first, before I show you the player stats, as you can see, we won absolutely everything. Everything. Won it all. Just won it all. Did what we needed to do. Some exciting games, you could say. When you look at the Prem, obviously, as well, you can look at that as it is. Scored a shit ton of goals and conceded less than a goal a game. Obviously, you can see here as well how many goals we're scoring, plus 97 goal difference. With that United team, light work. Easy as it gets. I promise you, this one here as well, what I will show you on this is the FA Cup run. Because when I tell you, as far as dominance goes, Jesus Christ. 7-0, 8-1, 6-1 against Tottenham in the semi-final, and then a 4-3 win against Burnley to wrap it up. Don't know why I made such a work of that, but obviously our players dominate all the assists on here as well, the goal side of it, player of the matches, yellow cards as well, because I told you we're an aggressive team. We still need to graft. Now, let me tell you the player stats. So, as you can see here, look at the goals on here, and I told you Bruno was restricted, but 22 goals, 32 assists. He still does plenty. Manu had less of a role there to do in terms of actually adding goals and assists. Still with 8 and 9, but he's more of the Rodri style role. He's going to get the ball, dictate and kind of control the tempo of the game and allow these other players to go. Garnacho chipped in as well. But these lot over here, in particular Højlund with 59, scoring over a goal a game. Still chipping in with 17 assists and goals coming from everywhere as well. Both centre-backs getting 15. 20 assists from the wide player. You've got goals off the bench. You've got pretty much everything you needed in this team to dominate. That is what you need to do. And if you use this tactic and you don't like it, comment down below. If you use this tactic and you do like it, comment down below, share, like, do everything for me as well. You tell me what kind of tactic you want to see next. Is there a manager or a style you want to see? I can get it for you. My favorite thing to do is get an actual real life style, build on it, and use it out there as well. Everyone can make a standard tactic which works. I get it, but what we need to do is find tactics that are fun, realistic, and have an actual play style on the pitch, and that's what this one does. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below what you want to see next. I'll see you in the next one.